This is a bizarre evening. Fragrant flowers, blazing fires, the organ with all the stops pulled out, and the choir in all their glory. Alleluia seems to be our song this evening, but what is it that we're celebrating? Mark's gospel doesn't exactly end with a reason for all this commotion. 3 women fleeing from an empty tomb as fast as they can doesn't quite explain what the fuss is all about. And a dead man who is now alive, improbable as that may be, why should that change our lives today? If we look at this Paschal event in isolation, the gospel is but a bizarre fairy tale. But in its right context, perhaps we can see what God is up to and where the joy is in this holiest of evenings. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. We read that this evening. Theologians are quick to remind us that this creation was ex nihilo, out of nothing. That before matter, before time, there was just God. And because God is the source of all being, God does not get lonely. God is perfect community unto God's self. So why did God make us in the first place? The reason is painfully simple and too good to be true. It's a reason we spend the better part of our lives struggling to believe. Factum ex nihilo, per amorem ad amorem. We were made from nothing, through love, to love. That was the original good news. As a species, we struggle to accept this fact that we were created by God to be loved by God. We struggle because the love you and I know is imperfect. It's conditional. It's fleeting. And it can all too quickly turn into hurt. So we reject this notion of perfect love out of exhaustion, out of pain, out of self-defense. And we wonder where God is as wars rage on. Those wars in the news and those wars we stopped talking about years ago. We wonder where this loving God is as we struggle in our own lives with our health, with our relationships, with our hopelessness. We wonder where God is as horse and chariot press up against a river, as we run out of room to flee, as our hope vaporizes. And in these moments, maybe as an act of faith or perhaps as an act of desperation, we choose to believe in that perfect love, that love who created us to be with us, that love who created us to love us. And with faith, we raise up our staff, walk across dry land, and make it through another ordeal. Some will call it luck, others coincidence, all in a desperation to not call it what it is. Factum per amorem ad amorum, created through love to love. That's all God ever wanted to do. And so this evening we gather together once again to hear our Paschal story, our Emmanuel story. That story of a God so wanting to love us that he took the form as one of us to walk with us, to heal us, to wipe away our tears, and to leap with us in moments of joy. Hearing about such a perfect love through the prophets was torturous enough, but seeing this love in the flesh confronted us once again with an even more difficult reality to bear. That a love that perfect can be experienced on earth. But we resisted. We just couldn't let go of those safety nets which guard our vulnerable hearts from this world's imperfect love. We hold on to our power, our isolation, our substances, our manipulation. It's less risky to turn to those things than it is to open our hearts to that perfect love. And that's what we did. We rejected that love once again by shouting, "Crucify him." Our wounded hearts didn't want to risk the possibility of love one more time. So we said no to God. The God who became incarnate to bring heaven to earth. But God's love is perfect. And love is the only thing God knows how to do. So being rejected by us in God's attempt to bring heaven down to earth, God went to plan B, raising earth to heaven. As he saw his son's body laying at rest in the tomb and his soul descended to hell, God took the risk of love one more time by saying, "How about you come to me?" And with that simple act of love, the gates of hell broke. With that simple act of love, that stone was rolled back. With that simple act of love, that young man in the white robe said, "He is not here." We said no to heaven on earth. So God said yes about raising earth to heaven. And that's exactly what God did that Easter morning. It wasn't a 2,000-year-old singular event. It was a tale as old as time itself. Factum per amorum ad amorum. We were made by love to love. God just can't stop loving us. That is why we sing Alleluia tonight.